Hello! This video is part of a series of resources for Texas property owners. I'm Pat O'Connor with O'Connor & Associates, and the topic for today's video is the Texas special session that starts July 18, 2017, and the issues it will address with regard to property taxes. Both the legislative leadership and the governor have 4 objectives they want to accomplish to make property taxes fairer and more reasonable for Texas property payers. So the first is they want to limit the growth of property taxes to 5% for existing properties. And the plan is that if the existing properties in a tax entity increase in value by more than 5%, then the tax rate would have to be reduced so that the total property taxes don't increase by more than 5%. So, for example, if the tax values went up 15% for existing properties, then they would have to roll back the tax rate so that the total property taxes paid increased no more than 5%. Now, they would have the alternative to ask for a vote of the citizens, but the likelihood is they would not ask for that vote very often. The second issue is to make appraisal review boards impartial. There are notorious appraisal review board members who vote with the appraisal district 90, 95, 99% of the time, whatever they want, carte blanche. Some of these appraisal review board members consistently vote with the appraisal district virtually 100% of the time. And the legislation that's been considered would allow for appraisal districts and appraisal review boards to eliminate or terminate ARB members, appraisal review board members, who exhibit repeated bias. And this would be an excellent change. The third issue makes information more easily available to Texas taxpayers. And this includes both the hearing evidence package that you can get upon request, but now you have to pay the appraisal district to print it, and in many cases you have to drive to the appraisal district's office to go and pick it up, which is certainly a nuisance. And the legislation being considered would require the appraisal district first to make it available free, and then second, they would have to mail it to you instead of making you come to their office to pick it up. The legislation would also require appraisal districts to put more information online to make it easily accessible to Texas taxpayers. And finally, the Texas Comptroller would set up a panel to consider the effectiveness and efficiency of appraisal districts. And as you may be aware, appraisal districts are paid by the tax entities. And so in many ways, they view themselves as an extension of the tax entities instead of a servant of the taxpayer. So the goal is to make appraisal districts more responsive to citizens as opposed to being an extension of the tax entities. And this would be a great idea to make appraisal districts more taxpayer friendly and more considerate of taxpayers. So if you think these are great ideas, contact your local representative or local senator, state senator or state representative, and let them know you agree with taxpayer-friendly changes for the 2017 special session. To find out if you're fairly taxed, go to the Texas Fairness Checker at cutmytaxes.com. It's free and takes less than a minute, and you'll find out if you're fairly taxed or not. This is Pat O'Connor with O'Connor & Associates. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with another tip.